going, y'all? It is yours truly, once again. So, I did a video initially of a similar subject matter, and it was just simply talking about how women shouldn't have a type. In this particular video, it's going to be about how men should have a type. For those checking this video out on the replay, just look in the comments section for the previous video to this one about women regarding types. So what I want to talk about mainly is just I won't correlate both videos. You check out the previous video, come back to this one. With this one, it's based on the fact that men should have a type. They should be conceptualizing the type of woman they need in their life, as well as want, but the needs come before the wants, right? For once. Because oftentimes you might get a girl you want, but she ain't what you need. She might be good to you, but not good for you, okay? So it's all about that functionality first. Then you could go on to the other stuff, right? All the fun stuff. Function, then fun, okay? So this is how a guy needs to conceptualize a woman from the standpoint of initially function. How should she function around you? You know, that's the main thing, right? And that's where most guys go wrong, because if you're caught up on a girl that you just want instead of a girl that you need, you're not thinking about the way she should function around you, right? So that becomes something that, as you having the type of woman, you can conceptualize more to be like, hey, this is the way I need her to be. And this is the way I need her. Like, this is the type of woman I need, you know, based on the way she functions around you. Because a lot of girls you get around that you want, have you noticed, fellas, how many malfunctions a lot of them have? Yeah. That's because a lot of them have become very robotic. You know, I'd say this: to a real woman versus a typical female, the real woman obviously being someone that you need versus a typical female, most likely someone that you want. Well, with a real woman per se, like, you know, as far as this idea of functionality, functionality, that's just really part of her nurturing. It becomes second nature to her, to where it doesn't even seem like an actual function. It's just, you know, part of the makeup that she was willing to be for you. Like, it gets me when people say makeup from the standpoint of, like, let's say you go through a lot with her and you have these arguments and all these hard times. She wants to make up with you when things should be part of her makeup. Let's make that make more sense. That's all I'm saying. It's just unfortunate because, yes, fellas, you can have a prototype. You know, you can have a certain type of woman that you need. And for the ladies, it should be about her being your type versus her trying to look for a certain type of man. See, that's been a problem because a lot of them want to try to think like a man instead of just actually thinking like a woman, being a woman, right? So it's caused some guys to start thinking like women instead of men, you know, because what happens is you end up not having a prototype, you have an archetype, you know, and you shouldn't, you know. Like I said, this rabbit hole gets deep, and I've talked about it before amongst gals regarding how they shouldn't have a type. With guys, you know, they should have a type, but it should be that the woman should be his prototype, not an archetype. Most guys get around gals based on them being what he sees as his archetype instead of a prototype. So the archetype is based on more of a gal that you want. The prototype is really based more on a gal that you need. Okay. So when you really have a gal that is the best of both worlds, her being more of what you need and less of what you want, but still a little bit of what you want, things are symbiotic. Things become such to where she does what she needs to do around you, but at the same time, doesn't forget about the needs that you have, like the pleasure side of things. Like, And if you think about it, a lot of things in life that we consider the finer things of life are like that. In essence, women should represent the finer things of life. Real talk. So even aesthetically speaking, so I've noticed even on dating sites per se, because I've done my homework, and yes, I used to be on dating apps quite a bit back in the day. Girls don't make themselves aesthetically pleasing, if you will. And if they do, it's just about like the ass. Like, no, no, let's see what's more than just ass, ladies. Like, it'd be nice if it'd be like, yo, like I can cook. I can, if I don't know how to cook, I will learn how to cook. I will want to be whatever you want me to be as your woman. Like, if girls start talking like that, especially on their online profiles, that'd be like an eye opener. Like, a guy would be like, yo, I hope this is not like cap, but yo, I haven't heard nobody talk like that before. Let alone in person, you start to see that you be like, yo, I ain't never seen a girl be like this before, for real, for real. Like, but it all fits the type of woman that you need and a lot of what you actually wanted in a woman this whole time that you thought she was getting out of a girl that wasn't even doing a lot of what you need. You see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, this archetype that guys mostly have versus prototypes is based on his experiences, based on what he's been through. For him to think, yo, you just have to basically settle in a sense of settling for less, right? So, the guy just ends up like, if he's used to a gal talking to him a certain way, treating him a certain way negatively, he just gets comfortable, in the sense of, that's just what I've been used to. So I got to understand, I'm going to get that from a lot of women, like, because that's just kind of how it is. Like, no, that's not how it is. That's just what you've had to deal with. You don't have to deal with that. You just say, hey, that's not the type of woman I want to be dealing with, right? See, that changes the conversation just like that immediately. And that changes the way she needs to be around you. Hey, what's good, Brown Do Life? Yeah. Yeah, this is one of those impromptu videos I'm doing. Yeah, I got some more live streams planned though on the way, when I'm able to do them. But yeah, this one just that impromptu. I hope you like it. Uh but yeah, it's also this like, and I don't know how spiritual some people are, how religious some people are, but it's also written that, if you delight yourself in the creator, he'll give you the desires of your heart. Let's throw the Bible out, no pun intended. If you just carry yourself in this life the way you desire to be, you'll eventually end up having a woman in your life that has to match your desires in life. Notice I say you'll eventually run into a woman that has to match those desires you have in life. That's not saying she automatically will match those desires. She has to. So basically, she sees everything that's about you and she has to be about that life that you're about. So yeah, you're not going to, obviously get that type of gal to show up out of thin air. But to the gal that cares, guess what? She's going to be right there being the type of woman that you need. You know what I'm saying? Because of the standards that you put down as a man, the principles you put down as a man. You know what I'm saying? That is important for her as a woman to be in line with. But gals take on, a lot of gals, not all, but some, take on that masculine side of trying to have their own standards. They try to have their own standards. And when you're supposed to be building with them, you know? The man is the architect and you're supposed to be building with him, but you want to have your own standards. So, the problem is that just affects the way that things need to be built in a relationship, you know. But that's what happens when a man can't lead if he's not able to lead because, she wants to have her standards. See, ladies, I've always said in videos too, ladies got to stop having standards. They need to show more humility. Show more humility in the sense that you will be having to build with that man. And on top of that, he's the architect. But if he's good at what he does, he ain't going to leave you hanging. He's going to have you be someone important to him in the way that he gets things done. And the fact that you show him that support, and he's going to continue to basically show you his appreciation of your support. He'll show you his appreciation of your reciprocation. But these are part of the groundworks of what it is about with a guy, knowing that's the type of woman he needs to have in his life. Okay. Because that's what being a woman is all about. It's her being the right type of woman. You know, you're not going to get a woman when you see one, when she claims to be one. You have to be his woman versus you saying you are a woman, but you're not even trying to be his woman. Then you actually defeat the purpose of what being a woman is. Woman is womb of a man. You're not even being his womb, but you are being his wound. So I guess that aspect of woman does make sense, unfortunately, right? So a lot of girls out here are walking around as wounds instead of wombs. You're hurting him, but you're also hurt because only hurt people, right? So think about every heartbreak that a guy has went through. He more than likely went through that because of a girl that already had her heart broken in whatever way. That's deep when you really think about it. But this goes back to what it means for a guy to make sure he has his type of woman. And it's nothing wrong with that. So you need to get around a gal that's not trying to hurt you. That's one thing for sure. You have to let that be known. And share with her some of your hurts to see if she even give a hoot about it, right? Because it's actually hurtful if she doesn't even care about your hurts. You know, she just would rather say, well, you need to uh, get over that before you can have another relationship. I'm not trying to deal with that. But yet she only saying that because a guy hurt her. And she doesn't want to think that you're going to be hurtful because of the hurt that you have going on. And it's like, yo, I'm not him. I'm him, but I'm not him, sweetie. You know what I'm saying? And this could be like something wonderful that you're just going to walk away from because I'm actually trying to see you as my type of woman. But in layman's terms, you just don't want to be because you're thinking about how a man needs to be a certain way with you. When really, in essence, you automatically get a man being a certain way because you want to be a certain way for him. But that's going along with this idea of your reciprocal nature that I think that, yeah, with a lot of girls, they have long forgotten about, you know. So, because there's basically not a lot of guys they want to reciprocate to, and a lot of girls just don't want to reciprocate, you know. But there are some girls that do. And so my content is for those type of women. My content is for those type of men that still want a woman, you know, because let's just face it, a lot of guys just don't want a woman. They've given up, or they just, for the most part, want to pump and dump. That's just how it is, you know. So my content is for guys that still want a woman, need a woman, and I hope this content helps you out with that because that's just kind of I speak from that lane. I refuse to just throw up the white rag just because there's just still all this back and forth with the genders. I've noticed a lot of relationship content still is popping up as we speak. A lot more relationship content out there, but none like this over here at Reality XM. And of course, behind the scenes, I've had to deal with those, male and female, you know, try to, I won't say challenge, but try to combat some of my talking points, you know, but at the end of the day, you know, that means I'm doing something right. So here I am still giving this work, right? And I'll just say that, guys, it's nothing wrong with the gal of your dreams. You having the gal of your dreams because the gal of your dreams is helping you to realize what your gal in reality needs to be like. Now, the gal of your dreams will always be the gal of your dreams. However, in reality, that's helping you to formulate and conceptualize the way a woman needs to be in your life. Because all this time you've been told your dreams can't come true. You've been told you're just a dreamer. Even with women, maybe you need to make that dream about the way you want your woman to be to come true for once. Instead of just accepting what comes your way. She ain't even aesthetically pleasing, but you just have to accept her being the way she is. No, baby. If you're not repairable, if you're not teachable, if you're not lovable, no. No, there's no saving that. You literally don't want to be saved. So you have to be a certain way, you know. Uh, I think about the standpoint of when one talks about protecting as far as a man providing as well. That's actually part of a man saving her too. But it's like, no, you have to be salvageable. You have to be repairable. You have to be lovable. And that simply comes down to you not disagreeing. That simply comes down to you reciprocating. That comes down to the way you talk to a man. That comes down to the way you communicate with a man. Comes down to how consistent you are with all those things I just mentioned, right? Then that makes a man say, hey, this is what? Worth protecting. Right? Worth it. You're worth it. You know, I would say worth providing, but I don't use the word provide at this channel because I believe that a man doesn't provide. He only shares what he's worked hard for. But sweetie, if you're worth it, guess what? He's going to share what he's worked hard for with you because you're worth it. Because a man doesn't have to share what he's worked hard for. No different than how you really don't have to reciprocate. Keep that in mind. And thanks a million for stopping by.